Hello everyone and welcome into today's video where we are checking out Algorand, and it is going to be a very tightly packed episode here today because I'm gonna be showing you some Algorand ecosystem roadmaps for 2022. We also gonna talk about a 50% drop in Algorand's price, and I have also some breaking news regarding El Salvador, and finally we will also check out the price charts. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. Just before we start, we are here on the algorand.com page, and I think they made some changes to this first welcome page over here, and I must say it looks quite a bit better than the previous one. So what do you guys think? Definitely leave your opinions down in the comment section below, and let's jump into the news. So first of all, we have some Algofi Roadmap update for 2022. If you don't know Algofi, and it's basically Algorand's liquidity protocol with decentralized lending market and stablecoin on the Algorand blockchain, where you can earn interest, borrow and more. And here they say that the last 2 weeks have been pretty rocky for the Algorand ecosystem, which is mainly because there was this exploit of an unauthorized user draining Tinyman pools, which also may contribute to ALGO's loss in about 50% of its value just in a couple of days. So first of all, if you missed out the drain of Tinyman pools, it was a pretty big deal at the beginning of January, and it resulted in over 3 million in Go ETH and Go Bitcoin being removed from liquidity pools during the attack. And this also involved Algorand because it was one of the pools of Go BTC to Algorand. And because there was no quick fix to the vulnerability available, Tinyman requested the Algorand community to remove liquidity from all Tinyman pools. Then regarding the roadmap of Algofi, there will be the Algofi DEX, which stands for Decentralized Exchange. Now there are smart contracts undergoing an audit and testnet is imminent. The launch day is now set to February 21st, and they say that the DEX will be a game changer for the Algorand ecosystem, and that the users will be able to compose multiple swap trades into a single atomic group transaction. And also it will support flash loans, which, if you don't know what flash loans mean, just one sentence: they are loans of assets from decentralized exchange pools that must be paid within the same group transaction plus a fee. But for more explanation, for sure look it up on YouTube. And why they are implementing this feature, it is to ensure that the Algofi DEX will have the fairest pricing on Algorand, so that's quite exciting for all the Algorand holders and traders. As a third point, Algofi DEX will support multiple fee tiers. And lastly, the Algofi DEX will leverage the technology advancements of AVM 1.1, which stands for Algorand Virtual Machine, for the maximum safety of the smart contracts. Then we have the ANEAS Algo rewards on the Algofi protocol, which is linked to this article on the Algorand Foundation of Viridis Phase 2, which will drive more liquidity into the Algorand ecosystem to help stabilize interest rates and more. And the launch date is as well at February 21st. Also, a couple of days later, they want to launch the enhanced analytics for the Algofi protocol. And just a couple of weeks later, they want to launch Algofi NanoSwap, basically to improve the stable pair swapping. So they now have the STBL and USDC plus USDT stablecoins on Algorand, and these should trade roughly 1-to-1 ratio, and they are estimating that this will reduce the transaction cost of trading those stable pairs by about 100 times. For the Q2 2022, we have the version 2 of the lending protocol, which should launch in mid-June, so in the middle of the year pretty much. And they want to add many features like ledger support, Algorand governance support, enhanced security with inner transactions, reduced transactions group size, pairwise correlation of collateral, enhanced interoperability with the Algofi DEX, and also support unlimited number of assets, improve liquidity mining strategies, and finally adding the before mentioned flash loans. And for the Q3 2022 we have a public sale called Bank, which is scheduled for mid-September 2022. So they will pursue this public sale of this token Bank before launching their liquidity mining programs on this Bank token. And quite logically following this, there will be this launch of the liquidity mining programs to distribute the governance token to protocol users. So that's it for the Algofi Roadmap for 2022. Next up we have this xGov platform, which is scheduled from January 31st until the end of February, so pretty much the whole month of February, about 4 weeks, where users will be able to vote. So if you are eligible to vote in this governance period, #2, definitely check this link, which will be in the description, so you can express your opinions. And finally, from the news, we have the El Salvador banks now using wrapped Bitcoin on Algorand with all the details. So first of all, we've known that since September 2021 there has been this connection with Algorand and El Salvador, especially these coin banks, where they said that Algorand will be the infrastructure on which the governance blockchain will be developed. And the main story here is that according to the CEO of coin banks, now 6 commercial banks in El Salvador are using wrapped Bitcoin on Algorand these days, and 3 are already on the mainnet and 3 more will be on board by June. And in total, commercial banking services in El Salvador are provided by 13 institutions, so this is pretty much half of them now, which is quite significant because that means that half of the banks are using Algorand to utilize Bitcoin at an institutional level. Why is this so significant? Because banks are by default the fulcrum of fiscal activity in any given nation state, so therefore everything then flows downstream from the banking sector, which in this case would be run on Algorand. They also added that Coinbanks is working on an end-to-end system that will allow businesses to receive fiat to crypto payments across borders, and he also noted that currently some banks from El Salvador and Guatemala are using it, and also that Argentina, the national bank, will adopt it in the near future, where the implementation should take close to 3 months. What also gives some credit to this is that Silvio Micali, which is the founder of Algorand, met with the mayor of Buenos Aires, which is the capital of Argentina, during his last Latin American business trip in December. And now we can finally jump into the price charts, where we can take a closer look at this huge drop in price which happened recently. Now we are sitting around $1, and previously we were as high as 1.8 to 1.9 US, so pretty much a 50% drop all the way to 0.8 US here. However, since the price has recovered a little bit, and I think now it is a very important trend line, is this uptrending trend line, on which we've seen previously a couple of attacks in March 2020 after this huge health crisis crash, but also later towards the end of 2020 here we have also a brief dip below this main uptrending price channel before resuming and actually rallying all to the top of this price channel at the beginning of 2021. Now here is very important to remember if any of the fundamentals have changed or why we have seen such a big drop. What I think happened here is that there was some panic sell-offs after the Tinyman exploit happening in early January 2021, and also adding this to the overall crypto sentiment, which has been quite bearish recently. This is not that surprising at all. If we take a look from afar, we can see that we are still in this overall bullish structure going pretty much since October 2019 over here. So it will be over 2 years now, and from this standpoint we can say that objectively buying towards some kind of a support is much more interesting, because there is much more upside for the future than if you are entering a position close to some kind of a resistance, like in September 2021 here. Can we drop lower than this? Well, absolutely, there is a chance that we can drop even lower, below this supporting price channel here. However, the chance, I think it's very small at the moment. We can see that we are significantly under those moving averages, so the price is not extended at all. It's pretty much beaten down, and also at the momentum indicator we can see that these are being now very oversold. Also important to mention is that those levels near this upper resistance over here were the all-time highs for Algorand. So if we zoom out, we can see that pretty much since the inception in 2019 we have never reached those levels until this September 2021. So I think this blue zone over here, which I highlighted with this horizontal price channel, is some kind of a zone of resistance near the all-time highs. So logically there will be some more resistance for the price to go up. So we've seen a couple of unsuccessful attempts here previously, May and April 2021, and also this unsuccessful breakout in September 2021. But I think sooner or later the Algorand can surpass this previous all-time highs zone and start heading higher again. But for that, I think it's also great to look at the relation to other crypto, which is this Algorand to Bitcoin ratio, where we can see that we are sitting pretty much in the middle of this price channel, a little bit towards the lower support line over here, but there is nothing major going on. We are not in a near proximity of any supports or resistances of this price channel. So from this standpoint, pretty much doing similar moves to Bitcoin for the past couple of years. However, where it changes a little bit is this Algorand to Ethereum ratio, where we don't have a horizontal price channel but a downtrending price channel in regards to Ethereum. So from this standpoint, you could actually say that objectively it's better to hold Ethereum because you would get even bigger gains than Algorand. However, we are now in near proximity of this upper resistance line over here, so maybe we can see some kind of a break in the near future. That's not impossible. However, based on this long-term price channel going again since the inception in 2019, this tells us that Ethereum during these 2 years was quite a bit better store of value than Algorand. However, if you are thinking about buying Algorand now, at least from my own point of view, I would much rather buy Algorand at this nice discount with much more upside left here than buying it near some kind of a resistance here. And if you are still undecided, I would advise you to wait a couple of days because I have another video about Algorand coming up with some pretty interesting theories and some pretty wild information which hasn't been that public lately. So definitely you can subscribe for that one, and if you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like or a comment down below. With this, I thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!